Hey everyone, if you're looking for a really big mobile monitor with 23-inch for PCs, laptops, handhelds or tablets, we're here to find out if the UPERFECT UMax 23 is for you or if it's not. For full disclosure, the monitor was provided free of charge for the purpose of this review and I received no monetary compensation. UPERFECT did not see the review up front and they didn't tell me what to say or test. Though, before I get to the actual review, let's have a look at the specs first. The UPERFECT UMax 23 has a screen size of 23.8 inches, so almost 24 inches here, with a resolution of 2560 by 1440 pixels, which is the classic 16:9 aspect ratio, and a 180 Hz IPS panel with adaptive sync and HDR compatibility included. The color accuracy on paper is decent with 100% for sRGB, though it's not perfect and doesn't fully cover the other color spaces, as you can see here. So that's 78% for Adobe RGB, 80% for P3 and 73% for NTSC. For the maximum brightness, I've measured around 340 nits at SDR, which is okay for indoor use, but outside in the sun that will not be enough, so keep that in mind considering the whole mobility aspect. The UMax 23 comes with a USB-C power adapter included, while I've measured a maximum of around 28 to 30 watt from the wall, though the brightness didn't seem to have any effect on the wattage. Here only setting it to 60 Hz via Windows was reducing the power draw to around 25 watt. And by the way, I was able to use the monitor with my 65 watt Basius power bank without any issue, so you could use it without a power plug for at least a while in theory. And while it seems to have some kind of pass-through when, for example, used with a smartphone or a gaming handheld like this, it was not enough to keep my Asus ROG Ally powered, for example. It weighs a total of 1.9 kg, which is around the weight of a modern 15-inch thin and light laptop. And since it's so big, it does not feel heavy at all. You know, because usually you consider the ratio between size and weight in your head when actually lifting up things. And at this size, it just seems pretty light. Now, on the left side, we get 3 ports. 2 USB-C and an HDMI port, while 2 USB-C and an HDMI cable are included, whereas you'll need one of the USB-C cables to power the monitor, which in my opinion should all be longer though. Especially the power cable should definitely be longer. You can choose which of the ports you want to use to power the screen and which you want to use for connecting it to the USB-C port of your handheld, laptop, tablet or phone, while it also works with a display port if you're using a USB-C to DisplayPort adapter, and alternatively you could of course use the HDMI port instead. Oh, and by the way, this 1440p version of the UMax 23 supports up to 180 Hz over USB-C and 144 Hz over HDMI. It also has some mediocre speakers, which aren't as bad as in other monitors, but they're still just for emergency cases if you don't have any other sound output. On the right side, the UMax 23 has the power button, a 3.5mm audio jack for headsets or external speakers, and the control knob for the OSD, which is pretty basic and overall functional. Though I would prefer menus with some gamma settings or adjusting the temperature with Kelvin values and such. However, I had no issue scrolling through the options and finding what I needed. Now, while you surely can game on this monitor, despite it having adaptive sync, it's not necessarily a gaming monitor. At least not if you're sensitive to high response times, as this one has 14 to 30 milliseconds depending on the version you're getting. I mean, 14 milliseconds is doable for many, but 30 milliseconds is pretty high and will cause some ghosting in faster FPS-based games. The monitor comes with an included kickstand at the back, but since it's not as wide as the screen itself, you cannot use it for a vertical positioning of the monitor, while it has a standard VESA mount at the lower back, which you can use with more or less any external monitor stand for such use cases. The extremely thin case is made out of a black aluminum metal at the back, and the thin bezels at the front seem to be made out of some rougher plastic. Nothing special, but it doesn't feel cheap or anything. It's actually built pretty sturdy and there's little to no flex to the bezels or the whole screen. Also, I didn't notice any panel gaps or stuff like that. Feels valuable, though it's somehow kind of strange they're still not placing any kind of logo on it, so it could seem like a no-name brand, for sure. Now, unfortunately, the package does not include a cover or transportation bag, which has to be acquired separately for around $30. Though I really liked the bag, the big pockets it has, and how soft it is inside, while it seemed to be a really good companion for the UMax 23. Inserting the monitor is pretty easy, and thanks to the handle at the top, it's pretty comfortable to carry it around. I would definitely recommend getting that with the monitor if you're planning to move it around outside a lot, which I guess most people that are buying monitors like this would actually want to do, because otherwise you should probably look for a different model altogether. As you can see in this footage, I was actually using 180-degree adapters for the cables, as otherwise they would stand out to the left like this, and with these adapters it's just a much cleaner setup. I mean, it's not a must, but it's worth a thought in my opinion. This 1440p version of the UMax 23 costs 419 euros or dollars, while an also available 1080p version is 319 euros or dollars instead, while you get $50 off with the code Hubwood50 for orders above $300 and $60 off with the code Hubwood60 for orders above $400. And you can just use the links in the description and the comments below. Now, who is this monitor for? Well, obviously it's for people that have a use case for a highly portable monitor that also needs to be quite big. You won't be able to fit this into most backpacks, and you will need to be okay with using something else for transportation. And to be honest, while you definitely can game on it, it's not meant for hardcore FPS gamers, despite the high refresh rate up to 180 Hz, since the response times most likely are just too high for that, especially if you're sensitive about this. It's also not meant for outdoor usage, well, I mean, on a cloudy day or in the evening or under a roof, maybe. So it's more like a portable presentation monitor, or if you need a bigger screen that you can easily drag around in your flat or your house for various use cases, or if you need to bring one to a friend's house, etc. I mean, since it offers HDMI and USB-C connections, you can really plug it into a lot of devices, like basically every laptop, gaming handheld and Android or Apple devices which support display out over USB-C or support HDMI. It does have a pretty good image quality. It even offers HDR for really popping colors and contrast with the appropriate video content or games that support it. And overall, it's really built solid. Again, if you want to try it out yourself, you can get it for $360 or euros with the code Hubwood60 in the links below. And that's already all for today. If you're interested in some smaller models by UPERFECT, check out my other reviews like these over here as well. And if the content was helpful for you, please consider liking and/or subscribing to the channel for more laptop or handheld related tech in the future. Thanks for watching, see you next time, bye bye and tschüss.